Friends, it's a very great joy for me to get to introduce our preachers this morning, both of whom grew up at our church and have been blessed by this community and this fellowship. More than that, we have been blessed by them. They are two great natural leaders that have served our church, and you'll get to hear about the ways they've served our church. As volunteers, like in VBS, and as acolytes. We're very grateful for them, and they have a very bright future ahead of them both, as you're about to hear. What's more, I respect the two of you a lot, and really grateful for the courage it takes to stand up here and share with us. So you're about to hear from Marlayna Keller, who we know as Mars, and Eva Llana, as we know as E.G. They'll go one after another. It's okay. Jesus will still love you if you give them both a little hand clap as they come up and share with us this morning. Start with Marlayna. Mars, come on up.
Okay, is it on? Okay. Can everyone in the back hear me? Okay, thank you. Well, thankfully, no one fell asleep last sermon. Let's hope it goes well this time. Hello, everyone. I am Marlayna Keller. Some of you may know me from working with your kids at VBS. Some of you may not know me, but have seen me at campus cleanups, or maybe I served you pancakes at Shrove Tuesday. For those of you who do not know me, and for those of you who do, here's a little bit more about myself. I just graduated from Piper High School. I plan to attend UTSA for the first year and then transfer out to a different UT school to study architecture. I was baptized here at St. Thomas in 2007 and have attended since. I want to thank everyone who has shown love and support towards me throughout these years, especially recently during my grandma's funeral. I have felt so much love through these walls and the halls. Look at that, I became Dr. Seuss. Okay, now to get into the reading. In our reading from 2 Corinthians, Paul tells us a powerful message about God and life. Paul in verses 5 through 6, Paul and the apostles tell us how God is always in our life. While verses 7 through 12 explain how even though we trust in God and he is always with us, that doesn't mean that life is going to be constant rainbows and unicorns. Paul tells us that we are going to face some difficulties in life, but because we follow God and because he is with us, our lives are not going to be a never-ending Stephen King movie. I will share some personal stories of when I experienced the meaning of 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I was born in China and was abandoned at the doors of an orphanage when I was 1 day old. Now, yes, abandonment sounds terrible, but God was with me because he pressed the cancel button on my current family's original plans to adopt from Russia and changed it to China. Instead of adopting a sweet, cute Russian baby, they adopted a sweet, cute, going to be a pain in their neck for more than 18 years Chinese baby. But of course they didn't know that part at the time. No one told them yet. The first night they held me in their arms, I already started problems. I had a 103-degree fever and a serious upper respiratory infection. I needed to be rushed to the emergency room. Thankfully, I was cute enough for them to rush as fast as they did. The line in the emergency room seemed to be super long. Another time in life that seemed frightening. Not only for me, but for my new family as well. But God traveled to China with them and helped us get the medicine we needed to cure me over 3 days. When they brought me home to America, I was overstimulated. I was previously stuck in the same room with the same people in the same orphanage back in China. And then I came here. There are so many new things to see, cars, sun, even running water was new to me. Then I started school. I was forced to go for 8 hours every day. Torture every day. The overstimulation I experienced at school caused me to come home every day and torture my family with grand meltdowns of kicking, crying, and screaming. Eventually, I would get so worn down that I would pass out. I bet my parents weren't complaining about those quiet, long naps I was taking. But over the years, God helped me to adjust, and slowly, I didn't get overstimulated anymore. God even turned my struggles with overstimulation into something positive. My family and I believe that all that staring and looking at everything resulted in my love for visual arts and architecture. I had overcome my overstimulation, yes! But because of it, I struggled with my academics. In second grade, I was testing in the bottom 5th percentile of my class. I was struggling so much that my parents were thinking of holding me back for a year. But God had other plans. He gave me the determination and resources I needed to get my grades up. By 8th grade, I was testing in the top 15th percentile. God helped me graduate high school as a 2-year member of the National Honor Society and with a grade point average of a 3.9. Let me share with you some reflections from my own journey. I've come to understand that through every twist and turn, every high and low, God has been there with me. But it's not just about God alone. It's about the community He's placed around me. Like the wonderful friends and family here at St. Thomas. You've been my rock, supporting me through sad times and celebrating me during my moments of triumph, like today. You've even pushed me out of my comfort zone, like that unexpected day of acolyting. Allie knows what I'm talking about. Through these experiences and my own story of adoption, I've learned that life is unpredictable, filled with surprises, some joyful, others challenging. But through it all, God has been my constant companion, guiding me and teaching me valuable lessons along the way. As I prepare to embark on the next chapter of my journey into college, I'm committed to carrying these lessons with me, embracing new experiences and trusting in the path that God has laid out before me, just as you should trust in the path that He has laid out before you. Let's step boldly into the future together, knowing that we are never alone on this journey. Thank you.
If we haven't met, my name is Eva Gray, and I've been attending St. Thomas for over 10 years, and have served as an acolyte for most of those years. This year, I'm graduating from Clark High School and will be going to Wofford College in South Carolina this fall. Go Terriers. After all this time at St. Thomas, I'm so thankful for the opportunity to speak on graduation Sunday, even if I still have a week left of school, unlike Mars. And in other fun news, I also get to take all my exams next week rather than exempt because my parents pulled me out of school to force me on a trip to Europe. The sheer audacity. 3 years ago, I entered what should have been my first normal year of high school after my freshman year was spent in near-empty classrooms with a mask on at all times. However, it turned out to be anything but that. During COVID, my sister became my rock, with quarantine forcing us to stay home as we kept each other sane through random activities to entertain ourselves. But after freshman year, I knew she would soon be leaving for college. She missed out on many senior traditions because of the protocols we still had to follow, but during the festivities we did have, her departure still hung over my head. Around the middle of that summer, my parents sat us down to inform us that my mom had just been diagnosed with breast cancer. We were told that because we had caught it early, the treatment would be simple. That was supposed to bring me comfort, but it hardly helped me in stomaching the news. Soon after this, my sister packed up and headed to College Station to begin her freshman year. My mom was sick, and the person who I'd become so emotionally reliant on was now a 3.5-hour drive away. Obviously, I still had my little brother Maddie, but unsurprisingly enough, prepubescent boys aren't as well equipped to aid in the emotions of a teenage girl such as myself. This meant that every week I looked forward to Sundays to see many of the same smiling faces I had seen for years as they constantly checked up on me and my family. Throughout that time, St. Thomas was there for us in many ways, with families bringing us home-cooked meals and other gifts, and even just through genuine conversations that were shared after the service. In the reading over Corinthians, what stuck out to me most after the initial read-through were these clay jars that Paul mentions and the supposed treasure inside of them. I first questioned why clay jars. Notoriously fragile and plain, a clay jar is certainly the last place I would keep my treasure, and I'm not just saying that to throw you all off the scent. I soon came to the realization that Paul is using this metaphor to illustrate God's love and devotion to us in trusting us to be vessels for his word, no matter how vulnerable and flawed we may be. I also came to realize that this treasure we keep in all of us from God manifests itself in all the relationships that come from a love of him, such as the community that we've built here at St. Thomas. As I enter this next chapter of my life, St. Thomas has taught me that God is the strongest foundation, and the relationships and community that are built on that will last and get you through many hard times. I will experience the same loss as I did when my sister moved away tenfold as I go to a school 5 states away, but after the time I've spent with all of you, I know what to seek when I get there to help me adjust, because through relationships built on the love of Jesus, in the words of Paul, we are afflicted in every way, but not crushed, perplexed but not driven to despair, persecuted but not forsaken, struck down but not destroyed. Thank you.